Welcome to Toffee TV. I am here to talk about this man and his tactics ahead of the new season. Obviously, Marco Silva is in place now as Everton manager, and I've been doing some looking into his background, looking into how his teams play, what he requires as a manager, formations and stuff like that. So let's have a little look. Let's get the excitement going ahead of the new season. So Marco Silva, you know, he's a attacking manager, he's a counter-attacking manager, likes his teams to commit forward, he likes his team to be full of pace, he likes his team to be snappy, get about the pitch and do pressing. He likes his team to be physically able to compete. That's been a common theme throughout his career. Obviously Hull, he inherited the team and altered it a little bit. At Watford he done the same, but where he's been in place to build things, this is the kind of stuff that he's wanted to get in place, and hoping that and expecting the same to be the situation at Everton. We'll just have a look at it, what he's used, his tactics and stuff so far. At Estoril, which was his first club, employed the 4-2-3-1. That's where he honed that formation. It was very successful for him, got promoted, finished 5th in the top league in Portugal and 4th the following year. He moved on to Sporting Lisbon, used the same formation again, won the cup and finished 3rd in, well, while manager Sporting Lisbon then was bizarrely sacked for not wearing a club suit. There was a bigger picture to that. Employed the same at Olympiacos, don't know why Joe hasn't done with the slide. Went to Hull, done the same at Hull, the 4-2-3-1. But then when he went to Watford, he did employ the 4-3-2-1 on many occasions, but he also altered it very, very slightly into this formation, which is the 4-3-3. And primarily, Tom Cleverley is the person who moves back into alongside the other two midfielders, making it a 3. A lot of the times at Watford, he did use 2 midfield players who were defensive midfield players as well, Inetti and Kapui and Decore. But Will Hughes can do both jobs, as Tom Cleverley can, and that was how he flipped it slightly to go to the 4-3-3, which is what he said he will employ at Everton. So yeah, so that's the kind of coach he is. They're the tactics he has used in his previous clubs. Like I say, a couple of the things he's going to need to address, I feel, at Everton is the pace issue. There's not enough pace in Everton's side. Another midfield player definitely to go in there, but we do have pace in wide areas. A big thing and a big part of Marco Silva's tactic side is his fullbacks provide the width. He likes to stretch the pitch as much as possible, and his fullbacks do provide the width. Now at Everton we do have 2 very attacking fullbacks. Yes, we need another left back to put Leighton Baines under pressure, but Seamus Coleman flies down the right hand side. Baines is a superb footballer, so can attack from the left, so you expect that to be the same. Try and spread the pitch as wide as possible and overload the attacking third, really. Some of the things that people have said, and I hold my hand up when I'd looked at Watford and at Hull when he conceded a few goals, and said, is he a little bit like Roberto Martinez? Through the reading I've done, through reading about his time at Estoril and Sporting and Olympiacos, no, it wasn't. He was defensively minded first, played on the counter-attack quite a lot. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but to say that he is like Martinez in terms of abandoning the defensive side of it, that is incorrect, totally incorrect. So, you know, let's hope that continues at Everton. Okay, moving on, like I've just been saying about the defensive side of his game, these are his defensive principles. He's a coach that likes his team to be strong in defence, a counter-attacking coach, so the defensive structure has to be right for Marco Silva. His teams do employ a pressing game in defence, but he always emphasises that they return to their defensive positions to keep that structure going. They shatter the ball, but the defensive midfield player has to stay where his position is, really. Doesn't want him charging all over the pitch. Like I've said there, despite favouring a 4-2-3-1, Silva does employ 4-3-3. It's just a little bit of tinkering with that formation, but his favoured 4-2-3-1 formation he likes that so much because it can split back into a 4-1-4-1 quite easily, and we'll show that in one of the graphics in a minute. He believes in educating his players so that they understand the game. This is a theme that has ran through all of the teams, the players who've spoken about him. It's about space, organisation, movement. Where does Marco Silva want me to be? And I think that's important to give that information to the players. He's a perfectionist. He works on the minute details of football, and he coaches these details into his players. And this is something that I don't think has been evident at Everton over the last few years. I think David Moyes done it brilliantly. Yeah, okay, he had his limitations, of course he did, but for Everton to be 5th, 4th, 6th in that league with no money, really, those minute details helped us. I'm never going to say punch above our weight, because I don't believe that, but it helped us be quite a stable club, top 5, always in the top 7 with the exception of a couple of seasons. So it was about those minute details for me with David Moyes. So I just mentioned the transition from a 4-3-2-1 back into a 4-2-3-1 back into a 4-1-4-1, and this is the showing you, the graphic here is showing you the positions which he likes his players to get back into. Obviously Schneiderlin dropping in, fullbacks tucking back in, and then your wingers and Cenk Tosun dropping back in to those positions to try and make it more solid. It's the shape that he's essentially looking for. People tucked in, Schneiderlin sitting just in front of those two, but we've got the two banks of 4 almost, Cenk Tosun there as well, making it a compact team to pass through. Okay, this is the defensive transformation. This is what his players are expected to do. People tucking in, your wingers coming back, Garner and Sigurdsson back in there in this graphic, Tosun in, and then I've put Lookman and Walcott here, move them back in, and then they'll go inside as well, and they just block up the pitch. He likes to have the diagonals, making it difficult for teams to play through, and that's the structure which he drills into the players. So, you know, in defensive side of it, come back into it and make us difficult to break down. Okay, moving on to the attacking side of Marco Silva. He likes creating options for his side in the final third. His counter-attacking style is to organise well, win the ball back quickly and break with pace. In his preferred 4-2-3-1, it's imperative that one of the defensive midfield players joins into the attack, which might be key in looking at who we may move for going forward. Silva likes his teams to pack the dangerous areas with players to create options to pull the opposition around. Wide players tuck in during the attack, get close to the centre forward, and this is again where they have to think about the game, what spaces to occupy. The fullbacks then come and join in and offer the width, making themselves available for switching the play or overlapping. And then the centre forward is required to play short or long, come short, get the ball, let people run in behind them, or get in and stay central and let everybody else's movements around them. The body overload is the key here. He likes there to be people switching positions so they're not easily picked up, which sometimes is a problem for Everton over the last few years. This is just a graphic which these are the positions that Marco Silva likes. They're the movements that people are going to make. Obviously your fullbacks going up, Garner then expected to join in, your two wingers tucking in, and then your fullbacks going on the outside. Again, I've got a little bit of a graphic to show here, but we're going to move that on into this position here, because before those players get up there, Gylfi Sigurdsson is the key to this. He will be the key to this system, the way with the current Everton squad, and it is his responsibility really to move the ball around in that space, in the centre of the pitch. He brings the wingers in and also the fullbacks in to the game, creating space for runners, and that is what, that's Gylfi will be absolutely instrumental for us this season, or player of that ilk. This is the position, this is the final positions he likes to have his players in. Again, you can see the evidence of the overload. There's 7 attackers there. Now, over the years, Everton have had 2 and 3. Yes, with Roberto Martinez, it was up and down, that situation. but Marco Silva likes to pack that area, and that's what the top teams do. Your Liverpools and Man Cities and teams like that get a lot of bodies in and around that box, and the movement cuts teams open at times as well. So, you know, hopefully we're going to see a lot more attack and play from Marco Silva's Everton. And to get into that, I'll show you the graphic that just gets us into that position. This is the attacking spring Marco Silva likes to employ, breaking from a 4-2-3-1 formation. It's particularly effective against teams that employ a low block where they sit very, very deep. And let's have a look. These are the positions that they're expected to get into. The movement there, the fullbacks overloading down the side, everyone tucking in, and then they finish in that position. You know, Schneiderlin will push up, the two centre-backs push up, and then it's the second defensive midfielder's position to be on the edge of the box, really, for anything that comes out. So we can see quite easily how attacking his teams can be and why he likes to do that. So it's going to be really interesting to see. This is what he adopts as he takes over at Everton. I've put players into a formation there, so we'll have a little look at the next graphic on that. This is the players who we have currently. So bearing in mind, Marco Silva likes to have the 4-2-3-1. I've done a couple of potential 11s with the current squad who might fit in to that kind of system as it stands at the moment. Jordan Pickford in goal, Coleman, Mason Holgate, Michael Keane, Leighton Baines there. Your two midfield players, Garner and Tom Davis. The reason for that, Garner can do the defensive job and Davis can break forward. Gylfi ahead of them, dictating, and then Theo Walcott, Yannick Bolasie in wide areas, and obviously Cenk Tosun down the middle. I've got that one, and then this is the alternate. A couple of changes in this team again: Pickford, Coleman, Keane, Jagielka, Baines. Your two defensive midfield players this time are Garner and Schneiderlin, and then Theo, Adamola Lookman, if we can make him happy. Seems a bit unhappy at the minute. And Cenk Tosun further forward again. Gylfi, the key to the works in there. So there's just a couple of potential lineups with the current set of players before anybody has come in. A couple of them could be moving on, but at this moment in time of doing the video, that's a potential 11 that could fill the spaces for Marco Silva in what he wants to do. If Marco Silva was to employ the 4-3-3, it's a slight change. A little bit of tinkering. Obviously Morgan Schneiderlin drops deeper and Garner and Gylfi play just slightly ahead of him. The idea with this is that Gylfi Sigurdsson is expected to get in, follow that run into where we've done the arrow there. That's the subtle change. It's not as attacking. We've got three men able to play in midfield there, but that's where Gylfi's responsibility will be, to get into that position. And then obviously try and get around Cenk Tosun. It'd be encouraging Gylfi to drop into there. We'd have Walcott and Lookman flanking either side of Tosun. And then obviously Baines and Coleman expected to push on into the half, but we keep two midfield players protecting as well for a slightly more defensively minded unit. These will create a block here. So yeah, so you know, that's basically, just reading ahead, that is basically Marco Silva's style, his tactics, what he tries to achieve. This is quite key. This is his actual win ratio. 265 games, 139 victories, giving him a 52.5% win rate. I've put other managers in here. Obviously, a lot of them have played a lot more games, but Jurgen Klopp's got a 49.7% win rate from 743 games. Jose Mourinho, 65.4% win rate, 579 wins from 885 games. Pep Guardiola, 75.54% win rate from 368 games. Pochettino, 439 games, 44.9% win ratio. Unai Emery, 53.5% win ratio from 719. Conte's got 58.2 from 419. Ronald Koeman, 53.52 from 667 games, and Roberto Martinez 40.9% from 465 games. So, you know, Marco Silva's won more than half of his games in charge as a manager. Hopefully that is only going to go one way, and that is up. But that just gives you a little bit of a balance of what he's done in his career in terms of winning and his style, his tactics, and everything else. So that's it. That is it. That's just a little breakdown of how he plays, what he expects, what we can expect of him as a coach, formations and style of play, really. And let's hope that it results in loads of goals and loads of victories. He'll be doing a few more of these throughout the season as he's playing, breaking the stuff down a little bit more with some animation and graphics and stuff when I've fully mastered it. But yeah, so don't forget, give us a subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching. If you want more videos like this, these are going to be Patreon exclusives, really. We may cut a little bit off for YouTube, but in general, it's going to be a Patreon show. Join us on Patreon, get over there. Loads of good stuff, loads of long tail stuff on Patreon this season. Extra shows, different style shows. Get over there. Every podcast, every show we do is available in a podcast as well if you are a Patreon subscriber. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon on Toffee TV.